Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And hopefully this time I'm not echoing, but thank you very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for checking out the podcast. And on this edition, we're going to be talking about, is Drew Brees on the decline? That is the question of the night. And really soon, we're going to have from the baddest sports show in the Deep South, we're going to have Everett on the show. We're going to be discussing Drew Brees. So once again, hopefully, I'm not echoing. I had to restart my computer, man, real quick. But thank you very much, man. And man, shouts out to everybody, man. Shouts out to all of you that are filing back in, man. You know, being patient. I really do appreciate that. Once again, Drew Brees, man. I mean, as soon as I put the topic of Drew Brees in the description, everybody just went crazy, man. Everybody gave their opinion about what they thought about Drew Brees. Some people think that he's on the decline. Some people are defending him and fighting people to the death to defend Drew Brees' honor. But I'm just going to go ahead while I'm waiting for Everett to file back in. Well, he's actually here right now. Let's bring him on in. Everett from the baddest sports show in the Deep South. What's going on, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it looked like we've been having some technical difficulties, huh?
Yeah, man. I ended up restarting my computer, man. I
can hear you.
Yeah, so that's good.
I can hear you.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and ask you, man. Let's go ahead and get started. Address the elephant in the room here. Do you think Drew Brees is on the decline? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
Drew Brees is not on the decline. His coach is on the decline. I think it's time for Sean Payton to give up the offense. You have to think about the last 3 years. And if we look at the last 3 years of the New Orleans Saints, we're talking about he has not been consistently a coach running the football. When we talk about the New Orleans Saints, we always talk about Drew Brees. But Drew Brees against the San Francisco 49ers put up 400-something, almost 400-something yards against the 49ers. He had like 5 touchdowns. So my thing is this. The last game, he played a Teddy Bridgewater type of game where I don't make a mistake.
Right.
I don't throw 2 interceptions like Tom Brady and we win the game. Right. 160 yards may not flash at anybody. Right. But when you have the defense playing the way they did, the special team playing the way they did, I look at Drew Brees was doing whatever he had to do to win the ball game. It wasn't about let's not stop and think, we're not giving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers enough credit. Carlton Davis, how he was shutting down Michael Thomas. Look, fans don't want to hear this, but Michael Thomas had 3 catches.
Right.
So let's just call it the way it is. What has Drew Brees had to throw to other than Michael Thomas in the last 3 years? Other than Michael Thomas, you had a Ted Ginn, an aging, injured Ted Ginn, and Sean Payton doing all this stuff with Taysom Hill, but not being aggressive. Right. We have not been aggressive as a footballer. And when Traquan Smith, what are we going to expect to see out of Traquan Smith? I think he needs to be cut after this year. If he does not step up to that, it's just, where we going with Taysom Smith, man? Traquan Smith. So I'll let you chime in on that.
Okay, well, I don't think that is Sean Payton as much as it is Drew Brees. Look, how long have you been a Saints fan, Everett?
I've been a Saints fan since 1983. I go all the way back with Bum Phillips, all the way to back.
Right. All right. So this is the thing.
See, you were stating.
No, I was saying you say you've been a fan since 1983. So you seen your fair share of bad quarterback play in the Saints uniform, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say that Drew Brees is the best Saints quarterback that's ever played for the franchise?
Yes, he's the best quarterback that ever played for the franchise, but I don't think other quarterbacks had a Sean Payton. I think Aaron Brooks, Jeff Blakes, I think them guys did not have a Sean Payton. So yes, he's the greatest by far.
Right.
I mean, numbers tell it all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when we look at when you talk about Drew Brees and his decline, it don't take. We all know he's aging. He's not throwing the ball down the field like he used to. We all know that. But the bottom line is, how are you declining when you went to the Pro Bowl last year with your completion ratio going up, not declining, going up? He broke records last year from completions. So I don't know what Saints fans saying that it's time for him to be done. I don't see it. After one game, I just don't see it.
Okay, well, I got some stats for you. Okay, 2016, he threw for 4,300 yards, right? 2017,
Right?
he threw for 3,900 yards. 2018, he threw for 2,800 yards. And this past season, he threw for less than 3,000 yards last season. So, and then as far as what you're saying about his completion percentage, that's because he's not throwing the ball down the field, man. According to Pro Football Focus, when we're talking about airing distance, out of 32 quarterbacks that play in the National Football League, Drew Brees is ranked number 27. Okay, so it's not like Drew Brees is out here, throwing the ball down the field, matriculating the ball down the field, and honestly, we all know that he's extremely accurate. So he throws the ball. He's about timing. It's about precision. He's always been that way. So for us to say that he is not, on a decline just because his completion percentage is high, I don't feel like that's correct. Drew Brees has always been accurate. And you said that, you talked about Ted Ginn, you talked about Michael Thomas. You said that he really didn't have anybody outside of Michael Thomas. When has that ever stopped Drew Brees from being able to complete passes? I mean, we've seen on Thursday night on Thanksgiving a couple years ago, he threw 4 touchdowns to 4 undrafted free agents. So Drew Brees has never had an issue getting the ball to guys that are so-called elite, okay? I mean, you look at guys like Lance Moore. I mean, Lance Moore left the Saints. What did he do when he left? Absolutely nothing. Robert Meacham, what did he do when he left the Saints? Absolutely nothing. Dave Thomas, what was he before he came to the Saints? He didn't do anything at all. So Drew Brees always made those mediocre wide receivers better than they actually were. And let's not forget about Devery Henderson. So now it seems like to me, like for us to say, oh, all of a sudden, he ain't got Michael Thomas and nobody else, that never stopped Drew Brees before. Look, nobody is who they once were at a certain age, right? When I was 22, I can jump out of the gym. I probably had like a 35 to 40 inch vertical leap. Okay. I can jump so high, I can actually drop the ball into the net, without even touching the rim. At age 34, I can't do that anymore. My feet barely leave the ground. So I don't think when somebody says like, oh, Drew Brees on the decline, it means that, oh, like he washed. I would never say that Drew Brees is washed because I don't feel he is washed. But I think if we are not looking at how he is, in the pocket and some of his decision making, I feel like if we're not paying attention to that, I don't know what to say. Like it's pretty obvious that he is not the same quarterback he was 3-4 years ago. Would you agree with that?
I don't think that's a true assessment.
Why not?
Look, none of the guys. Tom Brady is not the same quarterback that he was 5 or 6 years ago. It's just that the bottom line, they all are getting older. But what we're talking about is a guy who just went to the Pro Bowl. We're talking about a guy who went to 3 playoff appearances back to back. Has one of the best records in the NFL, other than Tom Brady, for the last 3 years. And we're talking about it's time for him to go because of the fact that the coach is setting him up to fail. The coach is putting him in position. It's all about Mr. Payton, my brother. You gotta understand what I'm seeing as a Saints fan is when you were talking about him with Devery Henderson, Sean Payton was much more creative. He was much more creative. He was doing much more. The Sean Payton now for the last 3 years has been more of he's doing trick plays. He's doing more so of with Taysom Hill. He didn't fell in love with his new toy with Taysom Hill. But at the end of the day, what wide receivers do you think on this football team that is actually, other than Michael Thomas, that has been separating from defenders? Now you watch the game just like I watch it.
I
Now,
seen
where's
Jerry.
the separation
I seen
other
Jerry
than
Cook.
Michael Thomas on this football team?
I seen Jared Cook get separation.
I don't see wide receivers
seen.
getting open, my brother. I don't see it happening. I think that we as
Could
fans,
it be?
we're looking from a distance, and we believe.
I disagree. Drew Brees does not
But
throw the
that's your
ball
tight
down the
end.
field.
That's your tight end. That's your
Drew
tight end. You
Brees.
ain't said wide receivers.
Drew Brees doesn't throw the ball down the field, so he doesn't play into the strengths of the wide receivers that they actually have. Devery Henderson was a guy that can get separation because he was fast. Robert Meacham was a receiver that can get separation because he was fast. Can Drew Brees at the time in his youth, in his early 30s, he was able to get the ball down the field to deliver to those guys. He doesn't have the arm strength anymore to get the ball to where these guys who have the strength to stretch the field, he can't get it to them anymore. Do you see Taysom Hill actually throwing the ball down the field 40 and 50 yards?
Did you watch the Colts game? You watched the Colts game,
did I watch the Colts game? Yeah, I watched it. I watched consistently.
You watched the Colts game? You watched the 49ers game?
That is accuracy. He can't get the ball down the field. Do you know how much he averaged in that game? Would you like to know how much he averaged in that game? You can look it up, man. He averaged 12 yards a play in that game against the Indianapolis Colts.
30 to 40.
12 yards a play he averaged in that game.
And that's bad to you?
You said what?
You play for these guys to get open, man. When you talk about you play to move the chains. It don't matter how you get it. We don't have and I think this was happening. What's happening with us as fans, we saw what Green Bay did. We saw Aaron Rodgers just pretty much toast the Minnesota Vikings. As a fan, that's what we saw. But we didn't think about Everson Griffin not being there. We didn't think about Danielle Hunter not being there. We didn't think about Xavier Rhodes not being there. That is not the same Minnesota Vikings team. Okay, so it looks good. And then we see Drew Brees dinking and dunking because given what he's getting what the defense is giving you. He's taking what the defense is giving.
Drew Brees does not throw the ball down the field.
If he throws touchdowns and no interceptions, what do you want him?
27. He's ranked number 27 out of 32 quarterbacks in the National Football League throwing the ball down the field. What am I supposed to do with that, man? I mean, I'm not telling you anything that I can't easily just put up and through research.
Play to win the game.
So, I mean, you throw the ball down, you have to throw the ball down the field. You know, like that's the thing that got Robert Meacham paid in San Diego. That's the thing that got Lance Moore paid out there in Pittsburgh and in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? It was for a short period of time. That's what got Devery an opportunity in Washington. You know, he was able to throw the ball down the field and connect with those guys. You got speed receivers. And like I said, all I want to know is this. If Drew Brees doesn't have an issue with throwing the ball down the field, why do we see Taysom Hill in deep pass situations? Why are we seeing him more on play action passes? I just want to know that. But let's go to the chat, man. A lot of people, they fired up, Everett, man. They fired up. Let's see what they got to say here. We got Larry. He says mentally he's still sharp, but his arm strength is diminishing, causing him not to be able to stretch a defense. Now, you got to admit, Everett, you know, there's more people playing closer to the line of scrimmage. Would you agree that they playing more to the line of scrimmage because they looking at the fact that Drew Brees doesn't have that arm strength, or do you see something else?
I see the wide receivers not separating. I'm looking at wide receivers, and I'm hoping out of Emmanuel Sanders because that's something I was liking what he did when he scored the touchdown at the goal line. He created some. That's why I said let's give Emmanuel Sanders some time. I think that when last year, Drew Brees, when we played our teams, what they did was they were keying so much on Michael Thomas. We didn't have that second guy that was able to help Drew out of separation. But what I want to ask you is this: that are you ready to just say that Drew Brees is done after one game against a defense that is on a rise? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that is not a weak defense. When you talk about Ndamukong Suh and some of them guys they got on the D line, and you talk about because Andrews Pete looked like he didn't know what a guy was at the end of the day. Sometimes are we gonna sit there and say what you really believe Sean Payton is still Sean Payton? his offense looks boring. Sean Payton is not as creative as he used to be.
I disagree.
I think teams have caught on to Sean Payton.
Well, I disagree with what you're saying, because why is it that the Saints offense, when Teddy Bridgewater was the quarterback, it looked completely different? You know, it was a completely different.
I was waiting for you to say that. Go ahead.
It was really balanced.
No,
it was really balanced. Oh, it wasn't balanced? It wasn't balanced? Go ahead and tell me it was. Go ahead and tell me it wasn't balanced.
But it was Drew Brees' numbers.
Okay.
It was Drew Brees' numbers.
Okay.
It was 160 yards. 160 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, no mistakes.
Right.
Good defense, good field goal kicking, and winning football games.
Right.
Special teams and winning football games. That is the exact thing that Drew Brees did against Tampa Bay. And you guys are knocking that, saying that
it was
Drew
not
Brees
the same
lost
thing.
it, but you didn't say that about Teddy, because Teddy was being protected last year.
Actually, he wasn't being protected. You know what I'm saying? Because the New Orleans Saints at that particular time
over that touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Over the 5-week span that Teddy Bridgewater was indeed the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, the Saints led the NFL in penalties, okay, for holding. Okay, so the fact is, you know what I'm saying, Teddy Bridgewater, unlike Drew Brees, was able to maneuver out of the pocket. I mean, for example, the game against the Chicago Bears, where they were trying to seal the deal, he rolled out of the pocket and threw a perfect pass to Michael Thomas, something that Drew Brees doesn't really do. You know, so that actually plays into it. And also, I have another question.
How far was that pass?
That pass was about 24, 25-yard pass, something like that. And also another thing, let me ask you this. How can you explain the fact?
This is the point that I'm making, TJ.
How can you explain the fact of How can you explain the fact the emergence of Taysom Hill?
It's not Teddy.
How can you explain the fact of the emergence of Taysom Hill? How is it that Deontay Harris can catch a 55-yard pass for the first time in his career? How is it that Taysom Hill can actually scramble out of pocket for 23 yards and then throw another 25-yard pass to Michael Thomas down the seam? How is it that Taysom Hill, who couldn't throw a party at one time, I remember one time in preseason he had 5 turnovers, can transition now to actually get the ball down the field to Michael Thomas for a toe tap and catch? How is it that Taysom Hill has developed in the Sean Payton offense if he, in your opinion, has been stagnant? I just don't understand that. I mean, this is a completely different quarterback from Drew Brees, and so is Teddy Bridgewater. And he got Teddy paid, okay, out there in Carolina, and Taysom just got paid a contract too. So, I mean, you have to admit, from the first year Taysom got here to where he is now, would you say he's a better quarterback?
Is he a better quarterback than Drew Brees?
No. That's blasphemous right there. That's ridiculous. I'm talking about as a quarterback. Has he gotten better from the time he went to Green Bay?
He's a better quarterback. I'm a big Taysom Hill fan. For those who watch me on the Baddest, they know that I'm a big Taysom Hill fan. But do I think Taysom is the future? No, I think Jameis is the future of this team. If Jameis get his mind right, I really believe that Jameis is the future of this of this team. Now, what you're talking about when we go back to talking about Drew Brees, and we go and look, you're bringing up Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill comes for specialty plays. He comes for trick plays. They're not game planning for Taysom Hill. They're game planning for the great Drew Brees. And I'm gonna tell you like this: when you look at Teddy B played Carolina just played against the Raiders. He was throwing some bombs down the field. He threw a 75-yard touchdown down the field.
Robbie Anderson.
Why is that? Because you know why? He don't have Sean Payton as a coach. Sean Payton is his time as an offensive coordinator. I think he's a great head coach, but I think it's time for him to let Michael call the plays, because he does not have the aggressiveness that he used to have. Sean Payton will try to go down the field. He does not do that no more. Okay, and you're gonna say it's because of Drew Brees, but you don't see wide receivers getting open. You don't see no wide receivers are picking for each other to get open. I don't see nobody other than Thomas and Niles Sanders getting open on this football team.
That's because
That
most of
game
the
against
time they
Tampa
actually
Bay,
run.
Colton Davis shut down Michael Thomas.
Okay, you're saying
I
that
thought I'd
Teddy
never-
Bridgewater. You're saying Teddy Bridgewater is running a Carolina Panthers offense, but the Carolina Panthers offense is the same as the Saints offense because Joe Brady was on the coaching staff, and the same offense that he ran at LSU, he's running in Carolina. So how can you say that he's taking one particular
he's
offense?
on the same coaching staff, but he has a young, aggressive coach. When Sean Payton when he
But he's
first came to
calling
New
his
Orleans
play.
Saints in 2006, he was a veteran. In 2006, Sean Payton was a very aggressive coach. And we don't see that with Sean Payton. Let's just talk about the 3 years with Sean Payton. Come on now. We should have won multiple Super Bowls. Okay? But let's just talk about him not running Latavius Murray. Let's talk about him not running the ball with Mark Ingram. Let's talk about him putting Drew Brees and not position him with better talent on defense to win championships. Okay?
And why is that?
Let's just talk about Sean
and
Payton.
why is that? And why is that?
Well, all great quarterbacks got to get money. You know, y'all didn't say that about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had to get his money.
Yeah, because Russell Wilson, but Russell
Wilson
Wilson compensated by being able to roll out of the pocket, unlike Drew Brees. Drew Brees is the main reason why the Saints have been, weren't able to go out there and get that.
Drew Brees did not deserve that money at the time, or T.J. Jones.
He deserved the money
at the time.
Yeah, he deserved the money, but don't act as if that's not the reason why the Saints weren't successful. They had to lose Jamal Bushride and you know what I'm saying, and Jonathan Goodwin. Right?
They give Jarius Byrd,
that's one person,
the highest paid safety in the NFL.
Right.
These are personnel that Sean Payton signed on, letting Malcolm Jenkins leave the New Orleans Saints. These are the things that they did. Now, we can sit there and talk about Drew Brees' money, but let's talk about
hindsight.
Let's talk
hindsight is 2020. Hindsight is 2020. Hindsight is 2020 with Jarius Byrd. The fact is, Jarius Byrd had 9 interceptions, led the NFL coming out of Buffalo. Everybody wanted Jarius Byrd. Jarius Byrd was just the same as it was with Jadeveon Clowney. So Jadeveon Clowney, the same type of hype he had, that was the same type of hype Jarius Byrd had. And let's not pretend like when Jarius Byrd got signed by the Saints, everybody didn't think that was like the greatest signing in Saints history. Okay, so for us, I mean, hindsight right now is 2020. I mean, he didn't do anything in the Saints uniform. I mean, but when this guy, I'm telling you, the majority of the Who Dat Nation, when the Saints got Jarius Byrd in free agency, we all rejoiced. When he got that 6-year contract, everybody was like, man, this guy right here, you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about right here. Because they got him, and then they signed Rob Ryan, you know what I'm saying, as defensive coordinator, and they wanted to kind of run something that mirrored the Seattle Seahawks type defense. But they didn't have those particular players. So at the same time, you know, like I said, Jarius Byrd was the right, you know what I'm saying, person at that particular time, and everybody liked that decision. But Drew Brees, did he deserve his money? Absolutely. But what Drew Brees, the reason why they weren't able to go out there and get other free agents or, you know what I'm saying, get other guys to come into the organization because he monopolized the majority of the salary cap? Yes. That's what it was. Now, I will say this. It was up to Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis to make sure they put a team around him. It's not Drew Brees' fault that he played himself into an elite type tax bracket. But you know what I'm saying, at the same time, when you take up the majority of the money, you're giving your team very little wiggle room to work with. So let me see. Drew Brees, thank you very much for the $5. He says the only thing on the decline is your ability to get up, according to your girlfriends. Thank you very much, man. I really do appreciate that. And also, hold on, man. I gotta just give these people a shout out real quick. Brandon Williams, Drew's completion percentage is high because most of his throws are short. He doesn't suck by any means, but he's clearly not the same quarterback he used to be. I mean, that's all I'm saying, Everett. That's all I'm saying. He's not the same quarterback he once was, man. That's all I'm getting at. All right, but I go ahead, man. I know you had something to say, so I'll let you continue.
Tom Brady is not the same quarterback that he used to be. But yet the national media does not give Drew Brees the same type of respect when it comes down to being older. Well, actually, Drew Brees is younger than Tom Brady, and Tom Brady still gets more respect. The bottom line is we are the New Orleans Saints fans. Before Drew Brees, we know what it's like to go through hell. And I just feel that our fan base is so disrespectful when it comes down to Drew Brees. It's just so disrespectful. But what I will tell you this is that the best chance of the New Orleans Saints winning the Super Bowl this year, and I'm not talking about next year, is with Drew Brees at quarterback. The best chance of the New Orleans Saints winning the Super Bowl is this year with Drew Brees.
Everett, I'm
that's
sorry.
Just my opinion.
But I agree with what you're saying. Drew Brees does put the Saints in the best position to win, especially when you have like a young offensive line. It's like having another offensive coordinator on the field. I will agree with you on this. But I will say this, man. The fact that the New Orleans Saints have sucked over the years. They've had terrible teams. They've been a snake-bitten franchise for all those years. I have to say that some of the fans that have been fans for a very long time, it is hard for them to see life outside of Drew Brees, because a lot of that comes from the fact that they see all this terrible quarterback play in the past, and I feel like that kind of warps their mind. You know what I'm saying? They feel like it's blasphemous that you talk about Drew Brees in that particular light, because you're thinking of like, well, if you talk about Drew Brees, then who else did we have? Who you going to bring up? You're going to bring up Jake Delhomme? You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect to him. He went to the Super Bowl. Who you going to bring up? Heath Schuler? Billy Joe Holwood, Billy Joe Tolliver, Danny Warfel, you know, so you start thinking about people like that and you compare them to Drew Brees and you're like, dang, you know what I'm saying? We finally getting the respect we deserve. We've been relevant for the past 15 years, and we want to hold on to Drew Brees with everything that we got, because we feel like as long as he is the Saints quarterback, it gives us the opportunity to win, and we are afraid of what's, you know what I'm saying, of the unknown, for somebody else to come into the franchise and maybe not give you the same type of production as Drew Brees. That is the main reason, in my opinion, why people get mad every time somebody may say, man, Drew Brees need to get up out of here, because you're thinking about what happened in the past. I don't care what anybody says. You know, the Saints used to stink. We were embarrassed as a fan base to say that you were a Saints fan at a time. I don't care what anybody says. Now it's like you can beat on your chest because the Saints are one of the best teams in the league, and it gives you a sense of pride. And the reason why you got that sense of pride is because of number 9. I love Drew Brees. I have a lot of respect for Drew Brees. Just like you said, Tom Brady is on decline. Tom Brady is not the same quarterback he once was. Look, it's no disrespect to Drew Brees. He is not the same quarterback he once was. He cannot be the main factor of the Saints winning football games anymore. That's all I'm saying. You got to put things around him. That's just like, it's like Peyton Manning in Denver, Everett. You know, like Peyton Manning, he still was great, right? First ballot Hall of Famer, threw for all those yards, all those division titles out there in Indianapolis, but he could not lead the Denver Broncos to a Super Bowl. They needed to put pieces around him. That is all I'm saying right now. Drew Brees at one time, I mean, he was undisputed, one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. Comebacks, on the edge of your seat type stuff. But he is not that player anymore. And like I said, it doesn't make me feel good to say that. He's just not the same player. He's not. What do you think about that?
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because the Denver Bronco team with Elway and the Denver Bronco team with Peyton Manning. Okay, and this is why I think the Saints are going to win the Super Bowl this year, and I picked them to win it because I see the Saints playing stout defense,
right,
and Drew Brees playing not to lose, not to be so aggressive down the field, and a little bit more conservative. Okay. So, but I really believe that it's going to be a Peyton Manning type of, Peyton Manning stunk that year. Anybody tell me Peyton Manning played well in that Super Bowl and he played well in that year, they're crazy. Right. So what I'm saying is that you can't say that we can't win a Super Bowl with a quarterback like Drew Brees, because Drew Brees he's not risking us like he used to. Drew Brees used to throw for 32 touchdowns but he would have 20 interceptions or 18 interceptions. He's now learned how to protect the football. He's not so aggressive to get in our way. So I'm saying the way I saw this game against a stout Tampa defense, if Drew Brees play that way, not turning the ball over, the Saints are going to win the Super Bowl. It's not about stats all the time. Y'all say he's a stat maker. He's all about stats. Now he's playing.
I think Everett's camera went out. I apologize for that, having a little technical difficulties. Hopefully, we can get him back in, man, just for a second. But I mean, he was making some good points there, man. You know, he made some good points about Drew Brees. But you know, I just think, man, look, people think this make me feel good to say. It does not. Okay, it does not make me feel good. People think I don't like Drew Brees. It's just facts, man. Like, why are we playing ourselves here? To me, why are we playing ourselves? If you're not the same person you was 10 years ago, what do you expect for Drew Brees? That's all I'm saying here. We're going to bring Everett back in. Everett, I'm sorry, man. You had a little technical difficulties. You go ahead and finish up what you were saying, man. I think the last thing I heard you say, you was talking about
I'm enjoying
Drew Brees being conservative.
I'm enjoying this. And once again, only 95% of the time, I agree with you. Okay? Right. I agree with you 95% of the time with this Drew Brees segment. I just say give the man a chance. It's only been game one. TJ Jones, give this man a chance. That's all I want you to do, brother.
Everett, but I
think that the Saints are going to shock the world.
Yeah, Everett, look, the thing about it, Everett, I don't have a problem with it. This. My train of thought does not just come from week one. And I think that's what people think. They're like, oh, it's just 1 week. No, this is over an extended amount of time. I mean, you look at that Minnesota Vikings game. You look at some of those, you know what I'm saying, other games inside of the playoffs. I mean, it just, man, I don't know, man. It's just the fact that, okay, you cannot tell me. In that Minnesota Vikings game, we seen Taysom Hill throw a 55-yard pass down the field to Deontay Harris for a completion to set up first and goal, right? What happened the very next drive? Drew Brees tried to javelin throw the ball down the field into double coverage. You know what I'm saying? And got the ball picked off. You can't tell me that wasn't an ego throw right there, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's trying to be something that he is not. It's like he's trying to be something that he once was, but he is just not anymore. I mean, he does a lot of great things. Short intermediate throws, complete accuracy, man. Throwing guys open. He is the master at that. He is, I mean, the marksman of all marksmen when it comes to quarterbacks. But all I'm saying is, backtrack. I agree with what you're saying. He puts them in the best position to win. They have a strong chance of winning the Super Bowl more when Drew Brees is the quarterback. I'm not dismissing it. My whole thing is he is not the same quarterback he once was. That's all I'm saying. And the reason why you're seeing different plays in him, you know what I'm saying, not throwing the ball is more and appreciation of his yards going down is the fact that the Saints understand, just like I would like the Who Dat Nation to understand, that he and Sean Payton and the coaching staff knows that Drew Brees cannot be the bread and butter anymore. He cannot be the guy that can put these guys over the hump. He can't. I'm sorry. He just can't. If they don't have a running game, and this is, you know, and I hopefully this is not just a, you know what I'm saying, just a moment in time where you're like, man, the defense was on point. Hopefully they can extend this out to the future. But if they're not going to play lights out like that, they're not going to get turnovers like that. I don't care if you got Drew Brees or not. They ain't winning nothing. When they Drew Brees can win, you know what I'm saying, win you a couple of games. We have a shootout in San Francisco every now and then. But do you think he can do what he did in San Francisco against the 49ers on a week-by-week basis? That's all I'm asking you. Everett, do you think he can do it on a week-by-week basis?
He had opportunities. They gave him an opportunity to go downfield. game plan was excellent. He was going, you got to understand, Jimmy Garoppolo is much younger than Drew Brees. And he was going at Jimmy Garoppolo like he was still the young Drew Brees. The Indianapolis coach came. He was looking like Drew Brees. We're not talking about coaching. We're not talking about opportunity. And every game is different. Every game that they play is different.
Right.
So you got to coach to the differences of the teams that you play. Every game is different.
Right.
So I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's a fair assessment when it comes down to Drew Brees. I don't think it's a fair assessment when it comes down to Drew Brees. You never miss the well till the well runs dry. You never miss the well till the well runs dry.
Or
and the bottom line is, if this is his final season, let's send this man off right, man. Let's send this man off right. You know? Nobody done that to Peyton Manning. Nobody done that to why is it Drew Brees? Why is it Drew Brees? Why everybody got a problem with Drew Brees? I'm trying to figure this out. You know, Drew Brees has done so much of success of this team, this franchise. And when he gets to decline, like you say, like all quarterbacks do, every quarterback declines. But is he not still a winner? Is he not still helping us win?
Yeah, he's helping the team win. There's no doubt about that. He's helping the team win. But in my opinion, he's also holding the offense back. He is. You know what I'm saying? He's holding the offense back for them reaching their full potential right now. You know, like, because he cannot get the ball down the field where the majority of his players, that is where their strength is. They can stretch the field. If I guarantee you, I said this before on the podcast, I'm pretty sure you heard this. If Drew Brees has his accuracy, his quarterback skills, and Jameis Winston arm, he would be the MVP right now. The Saints would have the number one offense in all of football. That's just my opinion. The strength of the wide receivers that they have, like Traquan, like Deontay, he can't play to it because he doesn't have that ability anymore. And you say, won't miss the, you know what I'm saying, won't miss the water till the well run dry. Look, it has absolutely nothing to do. Like, once again, this is no disrespect to Drew Brees. And yes, if he hangs up the cleats, I would be very sad about it. You know what I'm saying? I want him to go out. I said this. I want him to go out on his own shield. But that's not going to stop me as a, you know what I'm saying, as an analyst or podcaster, whatever you want to call me, from calling it like it is. I can't show favoritism just because Drew Brees has handed out some turkeys, shook hands, and kissed babies and threw touchdowns, you know what I'm saying, for the last 15 years and gave my heart a lot of pride and, you know what I'm saying, and joy. That's still, I mean, I'll be doing you a disservice and everybody else a disservice if I didn't say this. And I don't mind being a bad guy. I don't mind. But I think a lot of the times we don't want to criticize Drew Brees and the Who Dat Nation. I mean, it's not just you, Everett. It's my grandma too. Cause my grandma, she get on you, boy. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the fact we see so much. We seen so much losing, dude. We seen so much losing, Everett. Like, we seen so much losing in the 80s and the 90s, man. Like, we seen so much of it. And it makes us feel good as fans to be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? To open up Monday's newspaper and see that the Saints blew out a team, or they won, or they have the, you know what I'm saying, the best winning percentage in the last 3 years. It makes us feel good. You know, we don't want to go back to that anymore. So we want to hold on to Drew Brees with everything we have. But I don't want to see Drew Brees go out there and be a mere shell of himself. I don't want to see Drew Brees go out there, you know what I'm saying, and can't maneuver around and can't get the ball down the field anymore. And him just going the ball, you know what I'm saying, desperately throwing the ball down the field with no oomph on it. You know what I'm saying? Like he used to be when he used to do those flea flicker passes to Meacham, or that flea flicker pass over there to Devin Henderson. I don't want that, dude. I don't want it. And you made a good point about Peyton Manning. Was he the same quarterback? Absolutely not. He looked horrible. But that's why I wish he would have retired. That, you know what I'm saying? I wish he would have retired a year before. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want Drew Brees, you know what I'm saying, for my last memories to be of him is a quarterback that can't sling it no more. And people looking at him like, you know, like, man, around week 14, week 15, man, he just ain't got it no more. I don't want that. You know, that's my only concern. You know, and we seen it for the last couple of years. He plays lights out, MVP type football for about 8 or 9 weeks, and then over that hump, you know what I'm saying, he starts to struggle a tad bit. You know, so I just don't want that. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I'm not basing this on week 1. You know what I'm saying? The defense looked good. I was happy that the defense was the main factor of the Saints winning that game. Makes me feel good down the line. But I don't want to see Drew Brees go out like that, man. That's all.
All right. Since you want to go there, you want to talk about that. You talked about the first. Okay, let's talk about the very first game that you're dissecting.
Right.
The same way the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did not have an off season, did not have an OTA.
Right.
The New Orleans Saints didn't have one either. So quite naturally in football, the defense is always ahead of the offense. Most teams, your defense tend to be ahead of your offense. That's just football. Okay?
Okay.
So could you take the benefit of the doubt that maybe the offense was a little behind because of the fact that, and that's why Sean Payton, you're looking at game, it all look, I mean, let's just look at it. It looked like a preseason game. Both offenses look like a preseason game. So all I'm saying is, well, you know, we're looking at the 160 yards that Drew Brees threw. But did you take in the fact that he didn't turn the ball over? Did you take in the fact that Tom Brady turned the ball over twice? That Drew Brees played it safe and did not turn the football over. Don't tell me that he almost. He didn't. So the bottom line is you play to win the game, like the great Herman would say. Yeah. We won the game, and you fans keep on pressing on things that we shouldn't. We won on special teams, we won on defense, and we won on offense. Yeah. That's a complete football game.
That's a complete football game, but I'm still not going to ignore what's going on, you know what I'm saying, and what I'm seeing right before my eyes. And like you said, you said don't give you almost, but I mean, that's all I can give you ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't for that pass interference call, it would have been an interception. He threw the ball into triple coverage. You know what I'm saying? At one time, throwing the ball down the field, and then a pass on Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, Antoine Warfield Jr., if he had better hands, it would have, you know what I'm saying, would have been an interception at the goal line.
But
now,
if
was the fifth, we all be drunk. I know. You know, but at the same time, that's not.
DJ Jones, I never saw you nitpick like this. I never saw you nitpick. You nitpicking Drew Brees.
I'm not nitpicking
because y'all ready for this boy to go. Let's just be honest. Y'all ready for him to go. You're ready to see Winston come on in. I know what it is, something new. We all like something new. What happens is the out with the old, and we want something new.
I never operate like that. I never operate like that. If you follow the State of Saints podcast, I ain't never operate like that. I've said.
I'm talking about with Drew Brees. I think it's tired of Drew Brees. I think you're tired of Drew Brees.
I ain't say I'm tired of Drew Brees. I didn't say that. Not just because
you be having some passion.
Just because I'm critiquing Drew Brees doesn't mean that I'm tired of him. I've said on several occasions that I feel like he needs to go out on his own shield. I said that. What, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's not going to stop me from critiquing him or any other, you know what I'm saying, good player on the Saints team. I don't care if it's Alvin Kamara. I don't care if it's Michael Thomas. You know, that's just like, for example, people was talking about, oh, you know what I'm saying, the way they was playing Michael Thomas. I said, nah. I said, give Carlton Davis credit. You know what I'm saying? Just like we can talk about Marshawn Lattimore shutting down Mike Evans, let's call it for what it is. I am not afraid to say what I got to say about elite players, and I'm not going to give them, you know what I'm saying, the benefit of the doubt just because they're an elite player. I'm not giving passes out, okay? Passes are designed for Six Flags and amusement parks around the country, okay? That is what they're designed for, not on the State of the Saints podcast. That is all I'm saying, Everett. I have to call it how it is. If we can talk about Tom Brady in the way that he played, both quarterbacks looked their age on Sunday, okay? Tom Brady looked 43. Drew Brees looked 41. So, but that does not mean that I'm just going to sit here and just act as if I don't see what's happening right before my eyes. And like I said, it has absolutely nothing to do with me warning Jameis Winston. Because once again, Everett, you can go back into the archives, man. State of Saints podcast. I said neither one of these quarterbacks I feel is going to lead the Saints to the Super Bowl. Not Jameis, not Taysom. Okay, I said this. I'm on record saying this. So it has absolutely nothing to do with me rushing it out of the door. I feel like the next guy to lead the Saints to the Super Bowl is not even in the building yet. That's just my honest opinion. What I'm saying is based on what I've been saying over the course of time. And I don't like it. I just don't, because I don't, it's like that old dog, you know what I'm saying, that you see that just walking around here on his last leg. And you like, man, you know what I'm saying? That was a, you know what I'm saying? Not that I'm comparing Drew Brees to a dog, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying the loyalty standpoint, how loyal that dog was, how, you know what I'm saying? How it made you feel, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the time when you felt sad, the dog, you know what I'm saying, went under your arm, you know what I'm saying, and laid on your arm, you know what I'm saying, on your shoulder or whatever like that to make you feel better. That was Drew Brees. But at the same time, you have to look at him and be like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not going to last forever. And I don't want the last memories of me seeing Drew Brees struggle trying to get the ball down the field because I want to feel like a winner one more time. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Drew Brees. My favorite quarterback of all time.
But you still haven't covered, TJ. TJ, you still haven't covered it. You still haven't covered the wide receivers on this football team that is not getting open. You steady saying Drew Brees. Let's look at the running backs for the New Orleans Saints. We averaged one per what? When Kamara was running the
1.3.
Did you even think of the fact that it wasn't that was terrible? And
why you keep going back to the Tampa Bay game? Why you keep going back to the Tampa Bay game?
Because that's the only game we can go off. So it's only one game of the season. That's the only game we can go off.
Nah, I'm going off the extended amount of time. I wouldn't even be having this show with you. I wouldn't even be talking about this right now if I were just going off one game. Man, bro, I reserve my judgment. I reserve, like, for example, Eli Apple, right? Everybody was bashing Eli Apple, killing this man, eviscerating this dude, right? Man, Eli Apple sucked. Eli Apple sucked. Eli Apple, until like the Chicago game when he went down, only gave up like one big play, and that was to Fuller for the Houston Texans in week 1. Besides that, he played solid. He played solid the whole entire time. I feel like he did not deserve some of the criticism. I didn't come out there and jump out of the window and say Eli Apple sucked, okay? It took over the course of time for me to be like, oh, you know what? You know what I'm saying? Maybe the Saints need to line him up in a certain position. Maybe it'll work out for him. P.J. Williams, I say he gets smoked like brisket, burnt like a biscuit. But when Von Bell, Marcus Williams went down, he played safety. I said the Saints can save this guy's career if they line him up at safety. Everett, I'm telling you, man, I do not base my opinion on 1 or 2 games. That is asinine. That is stupid. I feel like any Saints fan doing that is absolutely ridiculous. Everything that I say, anytime I criticize a player, is based on a course of time, or if it's like painstakingly obvious that they were the reason why the team end up losing a game, or they end up, you know what I'm saying, not being successful that particular week at a certain, you know, on a certain offensive, defensive play. I'll call it out. But for me to stand up here and say, well, I feel this way, it happened over a course of time. I mean, this Tampa Bay game to me, you know what I'm saying, is so irrelevant to it's ridiculous. I'm talking about what I've seen analytically. I'm talking about what I'm actually seeing about from week to week, the questions that are being asked to me through, you know what I'm saying, through Facebook, my emails. Why are we not throwing the ball down the field? Why are we not getting the ball down the field? So that makes me ever go into like the archives and take a look. Well, you know what I'm saying? Because I need to know how I need to approach these questions. I don't want to just say up here, yeah, we need to throw the ball down the field. And I'm not looking at, well, you know what I'm saying? What's the average of us throwing the ball down the field? When I see that, I come back to it and I present it to people. You know what I'm saying? That's doing a service to the people that watch this podcast. All right. So this has absolutely nothing to do with Tampa Bay at all. I'm talking about his inability to throw the ball down the field has absolutely nothing to do with him not being accurate.
Well, you spoke about analytics. You spoke about analytics.
Right.
And I want you to understand that you spoke about analytics. Mm-hmm. And I find it mighty funny that if we want to go back to Teddy Bridgewater,
Right.
Teddy Bridgewater was playing mediocre football, other than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game and that game against the Chicago Bears. He was playing mediocre football.
Right.
Saints could not get in the end zone and kick field goals to beat the Cowgirls. And against the Seattle Seahawks, they played a game similar to this Tampa Bay game. Actually, that was like we went on a road and we won that game with defense, special teams, and Teddy protecting the football. Right. And that's how we won the game. And the numbers looked the same. Why you guys you guys are not looking at it like that? That's all I'm saying. I understand you have a right to criticize Drew Brees. I criticize you think, see, TJ, you think I don't criticize you. Matter of fact, I was more hard on Drew in that playoff game than a lot of people understand. Henry Winters will tell you that I'm very hard on Drew Brees. But what I see a lot of critical fans who are ready to kick Drew out for everything that he has done for the city, and as he played, they're looking at political things. I'm not all about political. I'm about football. I don't care who the man is voting for, who he stand up for. I'm talking about football. Let's just talk about that. And I'm talking about the fact that this team has an opportunity to win another Super Bowl, even with Drew Brees at the helm. And we might have to do it as a team with Taysom Hill. We might have to do it as a team. So I'm looking at it like that, brother.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I agree with you on the Teddy Bridgewater assessment. Okay, against the Seattle Seahawks, it was a conservative game. But I can also say that was actually his first time starting in a game against the I feel like this. The first 2 weeks, you have the Seattle Seahawks, the Dallas Cowboys. Sean Payton, the Saints were out in California. He realized, I mean, I'm pretty sure he was shell-shocked. Drew Brees not there for the first time in 14 years. You know what I'm saying? First time in 14 years. He has Teddy Bridgewater. You're right. They played the same type of offense that they would have with Drew Brees. They have a quarterback that don't make mistakes, very conservative play for those first 2 weeks. But then those 3 weeks happen, and you seen Teddy Bridgewater, a different quarterback, doing different plays. The Saints changed up their offense to kind of cater to what Teddy's strengths were at that particular time. So I will agree with you on those first 2 weeks, but those 3 weeks that he actually started, you started to see him kind of open up. You seen him try to throw the ball down the field. You seen him, you know what I'm saying, extend plays. You seen him sliding for first downs. So it takes time. You know what I'm saying? It took time for him to get into that, you know what I'm saying, that system. And also for Sean Payton to really sit down and be like, okay, Teddy, you know what I'm saying? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? What do you like to do? What are your strengths? What are your favorite plays? You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. You out there in California and stuff like that. You think you about to play. I mean, they didn't even come home. They stayed out there for 2 weeks. So you had Sean Payton out there, you know what I'm saying, shell shocked. He lost his quarterback for the first time in 14 years. And you got this new guy, you know what I'm saying, that you kind of know, but you don't, you know what I'm saying, you've seen some tape on it, but you really don't know what his strengths and weaknesses are, because the majority of the time, who's getting the reps? It's Drew. Drew's getting the reps. So you have to figure him out. You know what I'm saying? You got to get that game plan together for the next 2 weeks, get it out of the way. And as you can see, Teddy Bridgewater started to open up. You start seeing plays down the field, and you start seeing some of the things that Teddy actually did in Minnesota and even at Louisville. You know what I'm saying? You seen him doing some of that. So I just feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Sean Payton just needed that time. And I also seen people like Traquan Smith, you know what I'm saying? Traquan Smith catch passes, you know what I'm saying, down the field. You know what I'm saying? I seen, you know, like people that I ain't even think, you know what I'm saying, I forgot was on the team, you know what I'm saying, making plays. You know what I'm saying? Ted Ginn Jr., when the last time you seen Ted Ginn Jr. catch a pass past 30 yards? You know what I'm saying? Like, when the last time you actually seen him, like, get behind a defender and the ball get thrown down the field for a touchdown? Been a long time, my friend. You probably have to go back to Carolina, you know what I'm saying, when Cam was throwing him the football. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, I just feel like, is Drew Brees, you know what I'm saying, like, still an elite quarterback? Absolutely. He's still an elite quarterback. Can he get the Saints to the Super Bowl?
I can show you a tape last year with Ted Kent. I can show you a tape.
You say
show you tapes where he got behind.
You say
I can show you tapes where he got behind.
You say you can show me. You say you can show me tape of Ted getting behind defenders. Okay.
Now look, you had a
You know
guy,
where I'm going. You know
Cornelius
where I'm
Green,
going with
said
this.
that in your chat. He stated that I was.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What
I
did
can
he
show you
say?
things for Ted again. Yeah, when he got behind.
Yeah. Well, the question is why he didn't throw the football to him. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Why didn't Drew throw him the football then if you can get behind defenders? Leonard says Kamara is not an every down back, and Coach Payton lined him up as an every down back. That ain't even Drew's fault. That's a coaching issue. What you think about that?
No, I was telling you that Cornelius Green stated that Tracy Porter was the reason the Saints won the Super Bowl, and it's not true. The Saints had the lead. The Saints had the lead at that time, so I don't get.
Well, I mean, he the reason why the Saints sealed the deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we can agree with that.
I have to
I don't want to say he the main reason why. I mean, Drew Brees at the particular time. I mean, he had
agree.
The Super Bowl record.
The every down back is you got to give that ball to the boy. I mean, to the big man. You know, they don't get the ball.
Yeah. Let's see. Says me too. Calvin says, so with or without Brees, Saints don't stand a chance at a Super Bowl this year offensively. Nah, I don't want to say it. I mean, they still got a chance. I think that the Saints offense is extremely talented. I think they got a lot of good pieces on this team to be successful, you know. So I don't think their offense would, be that bad even if Drew Brees wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? It'll be respectable. Now, would they be able to get over that hump? I'm not sure. I mean, Drew Brees does bring knowledge, abilities, you know what I'm saying? And also he'd be able to read and see defenses better than some of those young quarterbacks, man. I believe that.
But Cornelius Green, that happens with
every team. Ian says, Leonard Kelly, yeah, but what happened in the playoffs though? Yeah, we got to talk about the playoffs, man. What's your thoughts on Drew Brees being 8-8 overall in the playoffs? And we can just eliminate that Charger game. He's 8-7 as a New Orleans Saints quarterback. What are your thoughts on the playoffs, Drew Brees?
He's talking about playoff games?
Yeah.
Asking me that question?
Yeah, I'm asking you about that.
Because there's a lot not running the football with Latavius Murray in the playoffs. There's several things that Sean Payton blew. And you got to tell even if you want to go back to Taysom Hill, when Taysom Hill is on fire against the Minnesota Vikings, and you don't continuously use that weapon, and you go. I just don't. Sean Payton in the last 3 playoffs have been all over the place. That one, the miracle is not his fault. It's the defense fault. The Minnesota Vikings. Nobody would have thought they would have caught that miracle play. As far as because it was played right. If he'd have batted down, we wouldn't be even talking about that miracle play. But as far as the Saints' last runs in the playoffs, it had a lot to do with Coach Payton and Drew Brees, not just Drew Brees. Drew Brees and Coach Payton and the defense. So collectively, it was the team just really messing on their own self because we came back against the Minnesota Vikings. We took the lead. Drew Brees, it wasn't his fault. We took the lead. We threw a touchdown to Michael Thomas, to Alvin Kamara, and we took the lead. What more you ask from your offense? And Marcus Williams gave up the play. So I don't know if y'all want to keep blaming Drew Brees for the fault of the playoffs. The referees have really been having it out for the New Orleans Saints, and we know it. So I don't like to keep making this.
What about the 2 turnovers in the first half of that Minnesota game that put the Saints behind and had them playing catch up? I mean, so that's what I would like to know on that. what about those two
The two
those two
turnovers.
turnovers? Yeah.
Hey, he still was able to, but he was able to overcome. He was able to overcome his turnovers. Most quarterbacks, he was a veteran quarterback. Most quarterbacks would have put their head down and they wouldn't have been able to come back off of that kind of pressure. Drew Brees overcame that turnover and gave us the lead. People keep nitpicking. We took the lead with Drew Brees. It was a fluke play. The reason why we lost. Marcus Williams on a fluke play. I still feel sick with that game. I still feel sick. Literally, I still feel sick about that game.
I mean, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's Drew Brees like entirely. I will say this: like he owns a strong percentage of that Minnesota Viking game in the wild card round last year, in my opinion. But you can say over the past few years, Drew Brees in the playoffs. You look at the game against the 49ers, right? I mean, he threw that ball to, if I'm not mistaken, Darren Sproles. You know what I'm saying? They put them boys in the lead. Alex Smith drove the ball down the field. You know what I'm saying? The Saints couldn't make a stop. You can talk about Greg Williams, you know what I'm saying, being too aggressive, but the 49ers end up scoring a touchdown. Then, you know what I'm saying, then you can talk about the Seattle Seahawks game. I mean, Seattle was just on another level last season. I mean, that season, you know what I'm saying, when they beat the Saints in the playoffs. So I'm not even going to doubt that. Drew Brees has more times than not put the Saints in the lead in order for them to make it to the next round or even make it to a Super Bowl, right? So I will say this, but at the same time, a lot of the times where they're trailing in those games had a lot to do with Drew Brees not performing well in the first half. But second half, he make those adjustments, he plays lights out. So, I don't have an issue with that. I think that the you can blame Sean Payton for not putting a defense around Drew Brees, like you said earlier. Mickey Loomis, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can blame him as well. There's enough blame to go around. I'm not just going to say it's completely Drew Brees, but Drew Brees did put his team behind for, you know what I'm saying, in a few of those games, and they had to end up playing catch up. And regardless of him putting the team out in front, you have to ask yourself, like, how well would the team, would have been if those turnovers didn't happen or those fumbles didn't happen, So, 8-7. I've seen worse, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people may think that Drew Brees should have more hardware than he has, especially him throwing for all those yards. And, but man, I'm not going to hold it against him. Like I said, there's a lot to go around when it comes to the blame on that, especially like defense giving up big plays, just ripping the heart out to Who Dat Nation year after year. So Anthony says he put them in the lead last year too. Yeah, that's true. He did put them in the lead last year. But I just don't know, man. It's hard for a team to win games when you have all those turnovers. Okay, it's hard.
So. I expect this is last year.
Me too. I do too. I believe it's going to be his last year. Hey, Everett, man, I got to ask you, what do you think about this Raider game on Monday night, man? Michael Thomas not going to play. I hope he don't play. And if you were the head coach, would you even be thinking of Michael Thomas playing in this game on Monday Night Football? Man, got a long delay. I don't know how behind he is. There's a long delay. I'm just gonna talk until he catches up. There's a long delay. I don't even know. I don't know the distance between. I don't even know the distance between me and him.
First of all, he have the Michael Thomas would have to show me that he can cut. That he can is in practice and OTAs. Is he able to make cuts? Other than that, I wouldn't even risk him. There's no reason to risk Michael Thomas. If you can't beat the Raiders without Michael Thomas, then you're not a good football team. Because the Saints have been a football team in the past, the next man up. I think the Saints can beat this Raiders team without Michael Thomas. I would, me personally, I would sit him.
I think they'll be absolutely crazy to allow Michael Thomas to play in this game. I mean, this is week 2. And I said this before on Twitter. I said it's not like this is T.O. in the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Run that football.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a T.O. situation. I mean, Michael Thomas, this is week 2. He got plenty more football to be played. You do not want to jeopardize this guy down the line, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like a chance for him to go out there week 2, end up tweaking it, making it even worse, him missing an extended amount of time, or even worse, he has to get surgery on his ankle. I do not believe at all that Sean Payton is going to let Michael Thomas play in this game. I understand he's a Bill Parcells disciple. That's what he is, right? Bill Parcells didn't disclose injuries and stuff like that. He used to use that as a competitive edge, keeping the coaches of the opposite team up at night trying to figure out, is that player going to play? Is he not? How we going to scheme against him? I get it. But this better just be, lip service. There should be no way in the world Michael Thomas should be playing in this game at all. I mean, it would be the dumbest decision ever. Okay, it would be absolutely ridiculous. We can miss him for a couple weeks. Okay, if you're the great offensive mind like everybody says that you are, then you should be able to scheme against a defense using the players that you actually have at your disposal and that's available right now. I mean, that's just my humble opinion on that. Let's see. Leonard Kelly, we coming back to troll. Let me see. I don't know who Leonard Kelly. Who was Leonard Kelly? Shouts out to Leonard. Kimberly Michelle straight up. And it says Mike T can't be playing. This feels like gamemanship, and Sean Payton wants to keep Gruden honest. Then we also have run the ball and stop their run.
But that's only going to make the team better in the future. It's only going to make the Saints better. It's only going to make the New Orleans Saints better in the future because that's some of the stuff I've been talking about.
And we got Derek says, I wouldn't play him either. We need him at 100%. Yeah, we definitely need him at 100%. I apologize, Everett. You kind of behind, man. It's like a long delay. So that's the reason I'm still talking. He's not trash, but he's aging. That's the comment on Drew Brees. Man, we're going to go ahead and get up out of here, man. This has been a great experience, man. Opportunity to talk to Everett, man, get his point of view. Last thing, I want to ask him about Marcus Davenport. What do you think about Marcus Davenport missing yet another week?
Oh,
So, yeah, I mean, he'll be able to eventually answer that question for us about Marcus Davenport. Him missing another week of football. So, sorry about that delay, folks. It's a long delay. Very long delay.
Marcus Davenport. Did you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? Marcus Davenport. I can talk about him. The way Trey Hendrickson is playing right now, I keep Marcus Davenport on the bench right now. There's no need to risk any more injuries with Marcus Davenport. Have him be 100%, just like Michael Thomas. Let him get 100% healed. Okay. The way Trey Hendrickson is playing right now, the rotation. Let's talk about Carl Granderson. A lot of people are not talking about Carl Granderson. Carl Granderson is actually a wrecking ball. And Malcolm Cockroach, this boy here is a fool. Could you imagine being an unrestricted free agent and starting in your first game? Could you imagine that? Starting in your first game?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna mute the mic.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is crazy, man. You know, the fact about, Marcus Davenport. I mean, I try to defend this guy, but I mean, it's hard for me to start, continuously defending this guy. I mean, the best ability is availability. You got to be available to actually play on the field. You got to be able to go out there and ball out. I don't know, man. I mean, this is not good. Him missing another game. Spent a lot of time in the tub last season, and it looked like history is starting to repeat itself. So hopefully, man, he can get back on the field in the next couple of weeks. They didn't put him on IR or anything like that. So
we got this delay going on.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully he'll be able to, be able to get back on the field over the next couple of weeks. But Everett, I want to say thank you very much. I really do appreciate you for being a part of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much. I'm gonna read a comment, real quick before it catches up with you. Says, look at TJ looking at my comments and laughing. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm looking at the comments. I think you put something about Ja Rule holla holla. So I see that. Murder. Thank you so much, Eric, for being a part of the State of the Saints podcast. So, I mean, I really do appreciate that. Sorry about that long delay, folks. The connection between me and Everett has been kind of tough tonight. You know what I'm saying? But we still tried to make it work. And shouts out to the brother as well, man. Been battling with the flu. Still making his presence felt here on the State of the Saints podcast. So I really do appreciate that, man. So Everett, thank you so much, man. That's funny right here. Connection over 2 Dixie cups and a string. Now that is funny. But man, there's a long delay here. But I want to say thank you very much for tuning into the State of the Saints podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, and check out the audio podcast, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio.com. Till next time, all I got to say is, who that?